There's no shortage of news with the cancel pigs this week in the comic book industry. They have been going after Mark Millar relentlessly. And of course, anybody who just says that modern comics are trash just gets piled on. This is the case with Rob Liefeld. Liefeld had a much softer take than that, to be honest, just acknowledging that these cancel pigs exist in a way. And he was harassed to the point where he was forced to delete his tweet. This is the craziest thing I've seen. They're going after the superstars intentionally. This is something that they do. Because if they can tear down people like Miller, if they can tear down people like Liefeld, if they can tear down the people that people actually like their comics and read them, they're all that's left in the mainstream industry. It's all about a big clout circle, right? And of course, we saw it with Heidi McDonald in her article claiming that everything's fine and good in the comic industry. They're on super damage control right now. Nothing like this has ever permeated through the entire comic book ecosystem the way Mark Millar did when he interviewed the guy, Glenn from his comic shop, who of course just said that these terrible writers these days are putting out self-insert garbage rather than actually taking care of the characters. Glenn is just echoing what a lot of comic retailers think. I talked to a lot of comic retailers. They're all saying the same thing. Sales are down. Marvel and DC's product output is not good. And we have a major, major problem. The real reason is because, of course, all these cancel pigs just put their friends into the industry. It's a big nepotism game at this point. If you're not part of the Whisper Network, if the Whisper Network doesn't like you, if Heather Antos says you're fired, you're going to be out from Marvel, DC, everywhere. This is a major, major problem because it's, of course, killing a lot of talent at this juncture. If you just disagree with anything, just a little bit, you'll get the treatment that Rob Liefeld got today. Let's look at this. All right, my name's John Delarose. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Fandom Pulse right here. This is a new website, of course, dedicated towards pop culture news. It's fandompulse.com. I'm going to put the link to this article in the description below so you guys can bookmark it. And of course, check this every day. We are coming out with new news. And of course, we're out there competing against CBR, IGN, all the shills that are getting access from Marvel and DC. We are telling the truth where they're not. So please, thank you for your support. Here it is. The Cancel Pigs maul Rob Liefeld for posting about woke comics Twitter. It's real, and it's to be avoided. So the cancel pigs took to X to pile on him after he waded into the arguments over the comic industry. He made an innocuous point about woke comic book Twitter and seemingly talking about the controversy stirred by Mark Millar, who stalwartly defended a comic shop owner for his opinions on why the comic industry is dying. I go on to explain who Rob Liefeld is. I assume you guys know, but many random readers might not if they're not familiar with comic stuff. He's also got a great podcast, and I linked this here. Liefeld's got one of the better comic book podcasts out there. He has really interesting insights into the industry, has good talks on the industry quite a bit, and I really like listening to it. So here it is. Here's his an image of his cap tits. Very fun stuff, too. But you get into the news here. Here's what he posted. Look, woke comic book Twitter is absolutely a thing. The sites, the podcast personalities, they all sing the same tune, the cancel tune. He didn't say that. That's my commentary. I avoid them as much as possible, and they have zero solutions. These people just go around and they just try to harass normal people. They try to force us into their like weird pronoun games all the time, and then they call us Nazi and bigot if we don't comply with it. It's absolutely crazy out there. And most of these people are broke. If you look at like Antos or you look at Mags Visaggio, they're always complaining about needing money and that they can't actually afford their bills with their jobs in the comic book industry. So that clout gets them absolutely nothing except for just a little bit of e-fame. That's all they care about is the likes. These women are just obsessed with the likes on here rather than actually producing good content like Rob Liefeld used to do in the past. But you see, all this did was get a response of people like Aaron Myers here, who said the man's biggest claim to fame is a character design he stole from George Perez. Probably the biggest reason the industry imploded in the late 90s. Not really. Liefeld's stuff was selling like bonkers. And of course, when Liefeld does interiors or anything like that, it sells much better than when you get somebody like, Mags Visaggio selling a book or a Jamal Igle on a book. Rob Liefeld is absolutely crushing it. And this really upsets these people. It's not surprising that Liefeld and Mark Millar deflecting blame at woke for a supposed decline in the comic industry. Supposed decline. It's ridiculous. If this is how out of touch the pros are, then maybe they're right that the industry has 2 years at best before collapse. That's correct. But these guys are not the ones that are out of touch. They're kind of like the retired guys who aren't really like involved in things anymore. The actual pros who are actually part of things like Cy Spurrier, like Tom King, like Mark Waid, those guys are still producing these comics within the mainstream, and those guys are the ones who are out of touch, creating the collapse. And of course, they're going off on Rob Liefeld about wokeness right here, and saying that he should be canceled. Absolutely crazy. That's why they're called cancel pigs. Now, Liefeld got enough heat about this that he ended up sadly deleting the tweet. That really upsets me that somebody like Liefeld's not allowed to just post his opinion without just getting utterly destroyed by these people in the industry. But this is what they do every single time. If you go to Blue Sky, also they're out there ranting about him and Mark Millar. That's where they're all congregated now. This new website, Blue Sky. Trying to make it like it's a different Twitter. Like they say it's less toxic, but gosh, I've seen some of the posts over there and they're just nasty. That they're just in an echo chamber, unfiltered, and so they just go even harder in that instance. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this, and of course, make sure to book fandompulse.com for your comic book news and industry news. Really appreciate you being there. See you soon.